Good afternoon. Today we'll be learning how to make a cookie cutter out of a tin can. First step of this is to disassemble a can. I used a can opener to take off the bottom of the can to start off with. So, as you can see, I worked my way around the can, slowly cutting it. I couldn't go in one motion as the tin opener wouldn't spin. So, I'm working on slowly. Again, this saves you a bit of time in the long run as it leaves a bit of a cleaner edge so it's easier to deal with. You work your way around. Eventually you'll come to a point now you'll see the can lid starts to lift off. You just keep working. And here we go, you'll see it just comes off now. Quite simple, here it comes. As you can see, there it is, gone. So, the following step will be to look for the little line along the can. This is the seam of the can. So take your scissors and cut along the seam. Starting off at the bottom or top, up to you, but cut halfway. Don't try and cut too far as it becomes quite difficult and it becomes easy to miss the line. Swap it over and continue back from the opposite side. Again, just cut until you're cut and it should come apart. This should create quite a clean cut. In my case, it left a tiny bit of metal, which you can see here, pulled off and put aside. So now you want to straighten your can out a bit. By doing this, you're just making it a bit easier to work in future. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is find the center of the can now. You're going to use a Koki to do this, preferably a whiteboard Koki as it's easy to clean off and you don't have to worry about it too much. So as you can see, I've started off here by trying to figure out where the dips are, as it can be kind of hard to make these out from the trough. So start off by working your way through, by just marking each one and counting. You'll notice here I make one long one. That long one is the center of the can in this case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make little holes along the can. This is the way I'm going to break this can off. You can use other methods. This to me is the easiest way to get a straight line. I just used a knife that I didn't really care about as it will get blunt, a cutting board to protect the table below, and you just work your way along. As you can see now with all the little holes, you just got to bend it a couple times for it to start breaking along that seam. So I just bent it over, being careful not to bend it too much to the point where I damage the can itself. So you go through again, a bit of a wiggle, and there it comes. So it'll take a bit of time, but you eventually get it. You get better at it as you do it more and more. Almost there, breaking it now. There we go. So the next step will be to look at your edges. See this one here? It's quite a clean edge already, to the point where we don't need to touch it up. This one, however, as you can see, it's a bit raised on the one side. So what you're going to want to do is cut along the surface with your pair of scissors just to make it neater so that when you fold it over, it looks a bit better. So as we cut along here, I'm using the little ridge where it changes in elevation as a way to line my scissors up and follow. So I'm just taking my time as it will save you time in the future with not needing to redo this step. Well, there we go. Now you can see this edge is a lot cleaner and can be used now. Well, so that's pretty much it in preparing your can. Today we'll be creating a rectangle cookie cutter out of this tin can. First step is to find your important lines. Your important lines are your cut lines as well as your fold lines. As with the square, what you want to remember is that your connection point of the two ends of the can must not be on a corner joint. So this makes measuring a little bit more challenging because you've got to account for the fact that you're going to join in the middle of one. So what you're going to have is one long section, two short sections, and then two sections of equal length, which will make up the second long section. First step, of course, is to fold over the top so that you have a safe area to push on when you're making the cookies yourself. This is the same as in every other video, so we don't need to talk about this too much now. Just work through it and then use your fingers to get it over just a little bit. Okay, and as again, go along with the pliers. Again, the amount of time you spend on this just will mean how good it looks. It doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, now that that is done, we're going to move on to the folds. So, my first fold is here. I'm going to draw my line down so that it's easy to make out what I'm doing. As you can see, this little section here is one of the short sides of the rectangle. That long section is the first large area, and here's the second short side. The two remaining edges are the two edges that will make up the second long side. So as with the square, you're going to bend it using the ruler so that you get a nice straight fold. Again, bend them all the exact same way. You can see here the bend didn't work out as I wanted to at the top. So I came back with the pliers and I just fixed that up a bit. Okay, and now for the final bend, just reposition. Got in the way of the camera here. Okay, so that's our general basic shape. So now what you're going to want to do is in every other video, is you're going to want to find the parts which we are going to fold over to link together. So here I'm just getting the can to the point where now I can draw this line. Okay, with that line drawn now, you're going to continue it down so that you can fold it over in a straight line while you're working. You can see there that I swapped the sides that the metal is on. The reason why I did this is I noticed that one side was pulling inwards while the other side was pushing outwards. So by swapping these, it kind of holds it in place by its own. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to fold the edges over again so that they interlock properly. So I'm bending it out a bit just to make it a bit easier for me to get the pliers in place and bend. So you notice here I'm bending this one inwards because this is the one that's going to be sitting on the outside of the can. Then as usual, opposite one, bend it the opposite way. There we go. Just push it over with your fingers, do the same for the other side. Be careful as usual, hook them together and then take your pair of pliers and just clamp them together as tight as possible. So you'll see here I'm just clamping it, nothing special, just doing quite from either end just to make sure that I get every part of it. And that is effectively it. Thank you very much for watching. We have our rectangular cookie cutter here. Goodbye.